Hey everybody, I'm back with another movie. This one is going to be Spontaneous from 2020, directed by Brian Duffield. And this is one of those movies that several of my movie friends have been saying is a really good movie. But I saw the movie poster a few times and I find it hard to believe. I mean, it looked like it was like one of those zombies musicals made by Disney or Nickelodeon or whoever makes those. It looked like some terrible teen thing. But anyway, I finally decided to give it a chance, and boy was I wrong. This is a fantastic movie and probably will make my top 25 of the year. It stars Katherine Langford. You might know her from Knives Out or Love, Simon. She plays Mara. She really is the kind of the main heart and soul of this movie. If she hasn't already had a star-making turn, I would say this is it. Co-stars Charlie Plummer, who you might know from Lean On Pete, as Dylan. And then in some smaller roles, you've got her best friend Tess, played by Haley Law. Her parents are Angela and Charlie, played respectively by Piper Perabo, I don't ever say her name, way back when in, Coyote Ugly and some other stuff. And then Rob Hubel doing a pretty straight, not very broad comic role. He's playing it pretty straight here. Now, how to describe this movie? Well, it is, at its heart, somewhat of a teen romance, but it's also, it's also a bit more nihilistic than that. It's more of a satire. It's got a lot of things going on. Right out of the gate, you have the main character of Mara. She's sitting in, her high school class, and the person in front of her explodes. You don't see it, but everyone is showered in blood. Everyone freaks out. And it might sound preposterous, but that's the concept of this movie. Members of the senior class of this high school randomly explode. You take this high concept, and I guess, how would I describe it? So earlier this year, Fat Man came out, really high concept, hitman going out to get, Santa, and it's a gritty movie. For me, it totally didn't work. I thought the concept was kind of squandered on a really not very great movie, in my opinion. Some people liked it, but I don't think very many people didn't love it. Now, this movie takes a, admittedly kind of preposterous idea, a silly sounding idea, and really says, this is actually going to be happening. What happens in this world? That's not to say it's a downer of a movie, and if anything, it's a really fun movie. It's sardonic. It's got great sense of humor. I would say if you want to kind of get a feel, I guess it's more leaning in the kind of the Heathers camp of teen movies in that sense. And basically the idea is that, this is happening in the school. You never know who and when someone might explode. And this kind of forces our main character of Mara to really kind of have an obviously existential crisis. And to have to think like, hey, every moment might be my last, as it would be with anybody in this world, and I better, take some chances. And the character of Dylan is the same sort of thing. He's had a crush on her for forever. He's maybe not the kind of guy that she would necessarily look at. She's probably a little more, a little more popular, even though she's kind of got a weird edge to her, which probably would make her not as popular as, say, the cheerleader type or whatever. She's a little more sarcastic and so on. But he is willing to take a chance because they might explode at any moment. So, and thus leads to a budding romance and kind of an adventure that they go on in this strange new reality they're living in. I can't describe how much fun this is without you just seeing it. It's just one of those movies where the tone just works. The humor works, the love story works, the horror isn't super gross, although there's lots of blood. There isn't like, you don't see people getting ripped apart. It's mostly just like an explosion and then a whole bunch of blood splashes onto people kind of a thing. But like I said, it's done in such a way that it creates a strange underlying tension to everything, where as you start to bond with the characters in the movie, you're starting to wonder, like, at any moment, one of these characters that you like might explode. I know it sounds silly, but it's actually really good. A couple other things is this movie definitely knows where its heart is. And I guess a great way to describe kind of the mix is that there are homages to both E.T. and to David Cronenberg. And if that mashup sounds interesting and unique to you, then I would say dive into this. I think this movie is one of the best teen movies in the last, 10, maybe 20 years. I think this is a movie that if it could have had a real theatrical run this year, would have had a really good chance of gaining a huge cult following. And I think over the next few years, as people discover it and kind of like me have to get beyond the kind of the look of the marketing and the expectations and actually give it a try, I think that it will get a really rabid following and love by the movie fans. Once again, if you haven't given it a try, it's only video on demand at this point, but it's gone down. It's been out for a couple months, so it's a couple bucks maybe to rent at the most. Maybe the high definition was a little more than that. And I would be amazed if this doesn't pop up on one of your streaming services pretty soon. I'm guessing maybe Hulu. I don't know for sure. Just keep your eyes out for Spontaneous. If you don't want to, cough up the couple bucks to watch this, which it's well worth it. If you don't want to do that, then definitely keep your eyes peeled for when it does officially drop into one of those streaming services. All right, that is the highly recommended movie Spontaneous. Check it out.